If I was an hour late to a meeting, that was normal. As we move along in life and we realize how unprofessional it is, we get better. We're going to make the commitment. We're expecting them to make it onto the meeting on time or to be there on time. We as the professionals should at least be able to start doing that. It's just like eating a dinner. The first thing we got to do is, we eat with our eyes. If the food doesn't look good, we're not going to ever really eat it. We need to be able to show them, what do we do? Put your best foot forward. Showcase those better projects. Without good photography, you're never going to win anything. There's just a lot of little things that you got to do well to get good photos, but in the end, that's what people look at, and that's what you're selling.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Landscaper's Guide. Today I'm excited to interview one of my clients from Ramblin' Jackson, Aaron Wolfe from Wickenburg Landscape. Aaron, welcome to the show. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your landscape company.
Thanks, Jack. Wickenburg Landscape's been around for almost 44 years. My parents started the company. I've been working in the company now almost 34 years full time. And nice thing is all three of our kids work in the company as well. So that makes it a lot of fun. This year we'll do a little bit more than 4 million with 38 employees, pretty much split across 65% install, 35% maintenance, and just really enjoy the industry. I've been certified paver instructor for 14 years. I do a lot of stuff in the industry to help out, and I like to think of myself more of a industry advocate instead of just kind of someone just landscaping.
I love that. You're an industry advocate, and that's one of the reasons I host this show is to interview people like you to share what's working. And Wickenburg is located in Wickenburg, Arizona. And for people listening, I promise that we have tips today that are going to be relevant, even if you're way up north and you do snow. We were just talking before we pressed record that some of the people I interview, they do snow, and it's not as relevant to what you do down in Arizona. And I know that the things we're going to talk about today apply to everyone's business. And I think even outside of the landscape industry, one of the things I wanted to hear about, Aaron, is your Client for Life program. Tell us about the Client for Life program and how do you treat your customers?
We've always kind of gone the extra mile on the client side. My dad used to teach me since I was really young. If you just have a customer and you don't have a relationship with them, if there's a problem, you may never know it. They may just go find somebody else if they get frustrated or upset. But if you can build a relationship with them, not necessarily friends like, going out to dinner or doing different stuff, but just kind of have a friendly relationship. When there's a problem, they want to let you know. They want to give you the opportunity to fix it, to work on it. And that's really where we've just kind of excelled and taken that to the next level. I think with you guys coming in, you guys really kind of formalized it. We had a lot of different processes and things that we've did or done over the years. And you guys have really just kind of crystallized it and made us really think all in one point and just a continuous plan of how to deal with a customer for life.
Well, I think you're really onto something there, and you had the bones of it already. Part of it was how you were raised and hearing your dad talk to customers, and uh, that's a lot. I mean, things I learned from my mom about how to talk on the phone. One of our core values is be human and pick up the damn phone. My mom was a real estate agent, and she would literally stand up and talk to people and smile while she was on the phone. And one time I'm like, Mom, why are you smiling and like laughing? And she told me that she brings energy to the call and that she's thinking
Yep.
about the person she's talking to. So she brought that energy to the phone call that contributed to that relationship. And then 30 years later, when I'm running Ramblin' Jackson, that made its way into our one of our core values. So that's what we try to do, Aaron, is work with people to figure out what are you already doing really well, and then how do we communicate that on the website and build it into a process. But you already had it in you, is my point.
Well, the funny thing is that a lot of times I get, one of the questions I get a lot of times is I'll spend probably half or three quarters of my conversations, my initial conversations with people talking about food, which I'm passionate about, travel, which passionate about. And I just want to see if we're a good fit to work with each other. If we genuinely like each other, we're going to be a good fit in whatever landscaping we're going to do. But some people, we're fortunate. We have the ability to pick and choose who we want to work for. And we have the ability to turn down a lot of people that we don't think are a good fit. And you guys have really helped us kind of even narrow that down even more before we even talk to people. So I think your processes took what we've already been doing and really slimmed them down. I just, for example, yesterday, I had a 30-minute meeting and two 1 hour meetings. I was within 1 minute early of each one of those meetings, starting them with just like what Robert says. All right, I got you down for an hour. Is that what you have us down for? Yep. And we're halfway through the job looking at it. And I'm like, all right, we're halfway through our time. Are we halfway through what you wanted me to look at? Oh, no, let's hurry up. And I was able to finish all three meetings within 1 minute of the closing time. So I think that's really important because at the end of the day, I realized I've got about an extra hour to an hour and a half today that I wouldn't have had before you kind of really got us. And Robert's been honing down on these principles that you guys are teaching us through the website.
So you've gotten an hour a day of your life back.
Yeah, on days when I have all these extra, I take three or four appointments now, which I probably would have only taken one or two before, and it's given us more time back to do other things.
I love hearing that. I have to admit that my wife helped me become very punctual. Um, and that there was a period where I was very late, routinely late for things, and it was extremely unprofessional. And I was late. I think I was late for a date or something with her, and she was like, "Look, I think this could really grow into something, and I believe in you and your business, and you can't be late like this. It's a deal breaker for me." And I was like, "Wow, that's legit. You're right." And then when I had kids, that was when I became like ruthlessly punctual because what I used to be able to spend 80 hours a week doing was just not physically humanly possible anymore. And so I needed to get to 60 and eventually 50 or 40. And becoming punctual in sales helps you get that time back for other things in your business and that verbal agreement around, hey, and we kind of checked in on this partly. I just wanted to know how much time do you have with me today, Aaron? So we got clear on that. So that way, when we're butting up to then, I'm not going to drag you over that. And that creates a bad experience for you. So I think it's partly it just helps people feel respected, and then also it helps you as the professional get what you need out of the meeting quickly and check in. I love that you're checking in halfway. Hey, uh, are we on track to finish? That's a really good addition to some of the things we're doing here and what we try and get our clients to do.
Yeah, I think that's really good. And also, you guys have gotten us. I mean, because I'm was definitely in your boat years ago. I'm not perfect by any means, but I mean, if I was an hour late to a meeting, that was normal. I mean, I can remember 10, 20 years ago, I'd never show up to anything on time. And then it's just as we move along in life and we realize how unprofessional it is, we get better. And, over the last year or so, I thought I was doing pretty good because at least I got to the point if I was going to be late, I would call or text them and say, "Hey, I'm going to be late. Is that okay?" And for a long time, I thought that was still okay to do, but in real life, it's not. We just need to, if we're going to make the commitment, we're expecting them to make it onto the meeting on time or to be there on time. We as the professionals should at least be able to start doing that. So, especially this summer, in the office and stuff, and with Spencer, especially working now with Robert and Chris, you guys have just really taught us the importance of doing the right things and then also setting the stage. If we can show up on time, it builds confidence with the customer. So then when we tell them we're going to have a bid to them in 3 days, wow, maybe I believe that. And it kind of goes from there.
I love it, Aaron. These are what I call the business basics of doing what you say you're going to do. And when in marketing, when we say we're going to do something and this is the process, and then in a meeting we say, hey, here's what we're going to do, here's how it's going to go, that builds trust really fast. So a lot of guys
Yeah,
will say, oh, landscaping is all about trust. Well, a lot of the things that most landscapers do really ruins trust. Showing up late, saying you're going to get a proposal to somebody in 2 days and then you don't. And that creates then the reason why a customer might go and get two or three other bids. And if one of them is Aaron Wolfe, who shows up on time and gets the proposal in on time, even if Aaron Wolfe is more expensive, if I've had two or three other people kind of blow me off, especially if, like most homeowners, you've hired somebody to do something at your house and it went south, I'll pick the expensive, punctual
yeah,
contractor any day. Somebody who communicates and is punctual, like you're hired.
absolutely.
And that has a lot to do with SEO. So sometimes, people, I want to transition into photography. People hire us, and one of the things that we do for people is SEO, and we do build websites, and we do help you with your branding and your sales process and things. But if the experience the customer has is unprofessional, all of that stuff goes out the window.
Absolutely. When, it's just like eating a dinner. The first thing we got to do is, we eat with our eyes. If the food doesn't look good, we're not going to ever really eat it. If it's just slop on a plate and you go to a restaurant and they're going to say, hey, it's $40. It tastes really good, but it looks really bad. You're not going to want to eat it. And we're presenting things to customers. We need to be able to show them, what do we do? Put your best foot forward. Showcase those better projects, but also just don't show outdated stuff. You got to take pictures on a regular basis. You have to continue to do them. You just can't just leave stuff out there that are 10, 15-year-old photos.
Tell me more about that, Aaron. So we started one of the things, like when I did your audit. So I remember looking at your photos, and we do a over 100 point audit for people where we analyze your branding, your visual identity, your photography, your website, SEO, your reviews, all these different things. And you scored very high on the photos. Like your photos are truly some of the best in the industry, and we're in a visual business. You people are hiring you to make their yard look beautiful. You're creating something beautiful for them, and you need to inspire them with that. And you get it. So you tell us, because I fight with people on this all the time. I had somebody who the best photo they had, like, had a thumb. Like literally someone's finger was over the corner of the camera, and there was like random leaves and trash on the patio. And I'm like, what am I looking at? The thumb or the trash? Or I guess there's landscaping happening here. So tell me about what do you do, and why do you value photography so much?
So I guess it started in 2007. Vendor, one of the vice presidents of a major block company, and he came up to us and told us, hey, I think you guys do good enough work that you guys need to start applying for awards. And I'm like, no, we just live in a small little town. I mean, we're 8,000 people at that time. We don't need to, do awards or anything. We're not good as the other people around the country or stuff. So no, he kept pointing out and he said, hey, enter that project right there. We're gonna send a photographer up. And I was like, wow, that photography really looks good. And he told me basically, without good photography, you're never going to win anything. I was at national. I mean, for ICPI for 6 or 7 years, I was one of the judges in three different categories, and I'd see stuff from all over. And you would look at a job and you would go, "What am I looking at? Am I looking at the sunset? Am I looking at the block wall? Am I looking at I don't know what I'm looking at. Am I looking at the shadow that the guy is standing in? You talked about the thumb on the picture. I mean, is the camera lens clean? There's just, you get certain pictures and I remember seeing one time reviewing a award post, and there was this smudge in one of the pictures, and I said, I think I saw that smudge before. And I scroll back three pictures before, and it's the same smudge. And I'm like, dude, the guy didn't even have a clean camera lens. And so if we can't put our best foot forward for our customers, They don't come to our job sites. They've never been to any of them. They've never hired us before. They don't know what kind of work we do. And if we just put out the stuff that we don't care about leaves on the ground. If you can't pick the leaves up or blow leaves, I mean, for us to do a photo shoot is probably about $1,000 to $1,500, and that's everything in house. So we have our own photographer. But we end up sending a detail crew out 3 days ahead to make sure everything's done. We send a detail crew out the day of the photo shoot. When we go to a photo shoot, we're there an hour and a half to 2 hours early with three people. We're staging things, we're moving things around. You have to do all of that stuff with a blower, last minute leaves. There's just a lot of little things that you got to do well to get good photos. But in the end, that's what people look at, and that's what you're selling.
I agree, and the staging of the photos and what am I actually taking what am I looking at is a very fair question uh, when
Yeah,
you're evaluating landscape photography. And tell me more. You said $1,000 to $1,500 per photo shoot, and you're doing this in house.
correct. So my mother-in-law is our photographer, and so on a typical photo shoot, we'll have three of us out there for at least 5 hours for the evening because we'll shoot late afternoon and then we'll shoot into the evening, and then we'll also get night shots for our lighting. So we try to get as much as we can out of those. But when you send a three-man detail crew over for a half a day twice within the week prior, you got to make sure that everything is worth it. And then the homeowner, you got to communicate with the homeowner. We do not do photo shoots unless the homeowner is home. We need the house open. We need the blinds lifted. We need the inside lights on. There's a lot of things that go into it. You take some of these pictures, they look like you just walked up into a backyard of somebody that's not even living there and took a picture. And it doesn't look warm and inviting. You need to step inside the house and take pictures from inside, outside. You need to take and say, this is what your landscape is going to look like when you're in the dining room. What about when you're in that outdoor living space? We don't call them patios anymore. They're an outdoor living space. This is the way I want to feel. We're going to eat outside. We're going to eat at the outside dining table. These are just things that try to envision stuff and where it is. We also scope or plan out our photo shoots a month ahead of time. So usually 6 months ahead of time, we know where the photo shoots are going to be going. A month ahead of time, we go out and scout to make sure we're going to get exactly the photos that we want. And then from there, it just, the maintenance crews and the supervisors know it's coming up, and it just takes time. But if you get good photos, you'll probably get about 40 to 60 that you can use in lots of different stuff, whole landscapes. But you can get plant photos, you can get outdoor kitchen photos, fireplace photos, all kinds of stuff.
I like it, and I like that you're planning it 6 months ahead of time, and you're also planning it. The time of day is important, and the time of day is going to change depending on the time of year. So, can you talk to me a little bit about the sun and how the time of year impacts the time of day to take the best photographs?
Absolutely. And that's what we do with our scouting to find out. So right now we're pretty much done with photography for the year in Wickenburg. The weather's changed. Now the leaves are starting to drop. The plants don't look great. And so we're pretty much done with our photography. We'll pick it up again middle of April, and we're only going to have about 8 weeks to the middle of May. And then the plants start getting too stressed with the heat. So we'll actually in January, February, we'll sit down with the maintenance supervisors and say, hey, this is the shots that we want to get for this year. We've got 8 weeks. That's 8 photo shoots, one a week, with some little mini ones in between. And then in the fall, we'll have about 6 weeks, depending on the fall. But that's really the only time we take photo shoots is in the spring and in the fall. And when you're doing your scouting, you need to find out, where's the sun going to be? Is this a sunrise photo shoot or is this a sunset photo shoot? I mean, if you've got a beautiful sunrise, You don't want to be doing those in the evening. I mean, we need to be getting some nice drone photography with sunrises. You can get some nice angle shots with the sun coming up. So there's some really great stuff, but you just got to kind of check those things out and make sure whatever you do, don't be doing them in the middle of the day when the UV is off the charts and it washes all the photos out.
Well, that's something, I've been doing video production and photography for about 15 years, and it's a lesson learned the hard way. Whenever I've tried to shoot photo or video in the high sun, it's awful. It's
Yeah.
it's awful. One, it's awful when you're in the video because it's just you're squinting and it's sweaty and it's hot. So picking that right time of day is critical, and then the site preparation, all of those different things tie into it. Are you ready to kick 2025 off with a bang? This is the year to close more sales, attract more hell yes customers, and finally free up some time to enjoy life outside of work. If you're in Texas or North Carolina, or you know someone in those states, on Monday, January 6th, I'll be presenting at the TNLA Lone Star Hort Forum in Dallas, Texas. I'm going to be delivering 2 back-to-back powerful presentations designed to help you grow your landscaping business without burning the midnight oil every week. First up is how to generate hell yes customers. This is a marketing workshop where I'm going to teach you how to attract qualified leads on autopilot with real case studies from Texas landscape companies implementing these strategies. Then, in Brand Your Sales Process to Get the Owner Out of Sales, I'll show you how to build a repeatable AI enhanced sales process that'll help you close deals faster, work fewer hours, and finally get out of the sales seat so you can focus on your business. Both sessions are included in your Hort Forum registration, so don't miss out on this workshop, and reach out to me because I'm going to be getting a handful of people together for dinner the night before. The following week, I'm heading to North Carolina for the Green and Growing Show, where Ramblin' Jackson is going to be raffling away a free Traeger grill and doing beef jerky tastings from booth number 1530, 1530. And on Tuesday, January 14th, I'll be on the Green and Growing stage presenting the landscaper's ultimate guide to recruiting A players. So if you want to learn a proven process to recruit both field and office staff, you've got to attend that presentation. So learn more about this and our other upcoming virtual and increasing list of live events at landscapersguide.com/events. So I hope to see you in Texas or North Carolina. And if you're listening and you're not in those states, but you know a landscaper who is, please share this episode with them. Send them a link to my events page. It's in the show notes. And keep me in mind if you are in a state association or your paver dealer is looking for a speaker for your webinars, keynotes, or workshops, remind them that I can help you with that. See our show notes for a link to the events page, and let's get back to the episode. So you mentioned cooking. That's something that I really enjoy. And one of the things that Chris, our project manager who managed your site, let me know is that sometimes you actually cook meals for people in their new outdoor living space. So tell me about that, and what are you cooking for people?
So what ended up happening is it actually started about 12 to 14 years ago in a separate side of the company where we used to, whenever someone did a project with us at the end of the year, we used to give them a Harry and David gift tower. You know, those towers with the apples and chocolates and stuff in them. Then one year we missed a couple customers, and so my wife and I and my mom, we just made a bunch of extra homemade goodies, just put them together and sent them off. And it was such a great time. We were like, wow, this is really incredible. So we ditched Harry and David. And then we started just doing everybody that does a project with us gets a gift box at the end of the year. And then anybody that does more than $2,500 a year in maintenance gets a gift box. Well, last year it turned out that was like 235 boxes. And so it's gotten to the point to where it's just untenable. So over the last couple of years, we've been looking at what can we do to kind of shift away from this. And a lot of people, my wife and I are both gourmet cooks. I'm a salt freak. I mean, I've got like probably 80 or 90 kinds of salt, and there's a salt for everything. And so I'm just really passionate about what I do. I have a really nice outdoor kitchen. I use it a lot. And so we just thought a couple years ago, why don't I just start doing outdoor or a kind of a tutorial of how to use your outdoor kitchen once you get it installed. So I think probably 2.5 years ago, everybody that gets an outdoor kitchen. So in the 1st of October, we release 30 dates on Instagram and Facebook, and then those all go from end of October through the end of April. And then the customers that did an outdoor kitchen the previous 12 months have the option to book a dinner. And so what we do is then we prep all the meal. We take it out there. We show them how to finish it on their grill or their griddle, little tips and tricks that we've learned over the years, and have a nice evening. We'll take one of our children with us. They're all adults, either our daughter, 18, Catherine, or Ethan, our middle child, he's 20, or our oldest child, Nathaniel's 22. They'll come out with us. And a lot of times the customers invite a neighbor, somebody else. And it's just a nice time. We get to spend a couple hours with them on a personal level and build a relationship. It's a great way to get more reviews. We've been working on that.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those things that nobody does. And if you're doing a 15, 20, $25,000 outdoor kitchen, can't you show them how to use it? I mean, that's pretty cool.
I love it. Yeah, so you're cooking a meal for them, you're spending time, and that story, they're either inviting neighbors or they're telling people about it. And absolutely, you can and should ask people for a review. It shouldn't be the point of the dinner, but at some point, hey, by the way, Mrs. Smith, we really enjoyed working with you, and hey, I feel a little uncomfortable asking, but it would really help our family business if you wrote a review on Google. Would you do that? And usually when you ask people in that way and then follow up and send them something where they can write it, you'll do it. You'll get it. And I appreciate the reviews that you wrote for us, Aaron. You gave us a Facebook and Google review. So thank you.
No, you're welcome. No, you guys have, it's kind of funny because before you guys, I think we had 9 reviews. And just to tell you a little bit about our company, 2 of the reviews were reviewing us because number one, we didn't work for them. They were just so happy that we helped them with enough information. Being, an industry advocate, we helped them get their job done, even though they weren't even within 100 miles of us. We were never going to do the job, but we took some time and helped them out. So you can get stuff. Sometimes you get reviews for work you didn't even do. It's a 5 star.
Well, on that point, you can get reviews from anyone. It could be vendors that you work with. It could be where do you buy your outdoor kitchen equipment? Where do you buy your grills? They could certainly write a review for you, and you could write a review for them. And then you could even take that a step further and write a testimonial for their website. So let's pretend there was Bob's Grills of Wickenburg, and you wrote a testimonial, Bob's the best. Right under there could be a link to your website that helps you then show up on Google. And Aaron, we could build a page for testimonials on your website where Bob then writes a testimonial. So, and absolutely ask all of your customers.
Yeah. No, it's just a lot of fun. I think it's just trying to build relationships and just trying to be real. And the funny thing is that since we started doing it, I would think at least half of the people that we talk to outdoor kitchens, we spend more time talking about the dinner than we do talking about what's going in the outdoor kitchen, how much does it cost or anything. So half of the sales time is spent discussing what we do for dinner and will I get the recipe and all that kind of stuff.
Well, Aaron, hey, thanks so much for coming on the show. You shared a wealth of information. I'm going to send this to like all of my clients and tell them to be like Aaron and plan your photo shoots 6 months in advance. Pick the time of day, stage it, get your client involved. You shared so many valuable tips that really those photos will pull things together from a sales and marketing standpoint. So, for folks listening, where can we connect with you and learn more?
The easiest way is just to reach out to us through our website, wickenburglandscape.com. You can reach out to us there at Facebook, Wickenburg Landscape, but We're just getting into social media, so I really don't do much with that. So
Check out wickenburglandscape.com in the show notes. And Aaron, thanks again for coming on the Landscaper's Guide. If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure you like this video and post a comment. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, because each week we're going to share new episodes to help you grow your snow and landscape company. My name's Jack Jostes, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.